All right, first off, I want to thank James Bresnahan and Al DeBerry and their staff for the breakfast.
Yes.
We literally did nothing other than call Al, and he said, we'll take care of it. He's like, do you want to be involved in the decision making? I said, nope, you guys are the professionals. Your budget is $300, do whatever you think is best, and boy, did they. That's fantastic. So when you're booking your time here, make sure you talk to them about their food service as well.
Thank you, James.
Love you. You're the best. Okay, so we thought it'd be fun to record, and you can come right on here in the middle, right on here. You're good. This is Faith Wall, our marketing, and she's also the first ever correspondent for the McKinney Podcast. We thought it'd be fun for our 10 minutes to have a little live recording episode here. We're just going to have 3 questions that Fred and I are both going to answer, and then one of the audience is going to answer each of the 3 questions as well.
Actually, James, I'm going to call an audible on us.
Yeah?
Yeah. What exactly do Allison and Elizabeth do with the podcast?
Well, they're the boss. They do all the decision making. Fred and I are just the talent. We execute the vision of Elizabeth and Allison. We're not actually in charge of anything.
That's right. If you want to think about it, we're like the horses that are running. They're the ones that are the reins going, whoa, whoa.
You've seen a bicycle, right? There's pedals and there's handlebars. We're the pedals, they're the handlebars.
That's right.
All right, was that your audible?
Yeah, that was my audible.
Okay, so the 3 questions, folks, are why McKinney, why the McKinney Chamber, and why the McKinney Podcast. Fred, why don't you go first on why McKinney?
All right, so why McKinney? When we were living in Florida, class of 93, by the way, we felt that it was time to move, and we looked all across the nation. We looked at the obvious places, California, Nashville, things like that, and we were like, you know what, those places are great, but they don't seem to have what we want. And that was a place where we could move, grow our family, grow roots in our community, and belong. And you know what? We looked at Frisco, we looked at Plano, we kind of dabbled with the Allen stuff, but when it came down to it, McKinney. McKinney was the place that really spoke to us, so that's why we chose McKinney. How about you, James?
So we were living in Dallas, and we were an agent with Farmers Insurance back then. And when we were getting ready to sell the agency, we didn't have any territory restrictions like we did with Farmers. Boo. We could go literally anywhere we wanted to. So Allison and I pulled the map out and literally went city by city of, do we want to live here? Do we want to have our business here? We got to McKinney and was like, ooh, oh wow, well, okay, so it's McKinney. Lots of green space, lots of local business. The people are just super friendly up there. It's not nearly as flat and boring and superficial and flashy as Frisco is. I mean, McKinney is a much more interesting city than Frisco. I mean, I'm unashamedly pro McKinney. If you live in Frisco, I just feel sorry for you because you could have lived in McKinney, but you chose to live in Frisco. Sorry, buddy. You want to go by the McKinney Chamber?
Absolutely. So why the McKinney Chamber? Now, raise your hands again. Who's a first timer or a guest? All right, okay, but you're already part of the chamber. So why the McKinney Chamber? Well, in our move, we were thinking, what is going to see to the success of 2 self-employed people with a family? And we were asking our friends and family there in the Tampa area, and they were like, you know what? You need to get involved with your Chamber of Commerce. Until coming to the Chamber of Commerce here, all I thought was that's a building downtown, and every so often I see a sign with them. But when we moved here, we joined the McKinney Chamber, we joined several other chambers and several other networking groups. But I can say, that when it came down to it, the connections that we made here in the chamber reaching out to us, all the other groups we went to, they're like, hey, thanks for joining. And that was it. But when we joined the chamber, you know what? The president of the chamber at the time, that was Jody. She was like, hey, welcome to the chamber. Let's go to lunch. And we went to Square Burger, and she just introduced us to downtown and said, what is it that you need? And so when it comes to what is it that you need, you're in the right place. And the McKinney Chamber by far has out-excelled every other group we've ever darkened the door to.
And my answer to this question is directed at the people that listen to the McKinney Podcast or watch on YouTube that aren't in the room right here, because there's hundreds of you. And let me just tell you, if you're looking to do business with someone or a group of people that are committed to the city where we live, then I can't stress enough how important it is to do business with a chamber member. When you see that sticker on the window of a business that says, member of the McKinney Chamber, you know that that business is serious about investing in their community. I've been a part of 4 chambers. And I'm not going to name them because I'm about to dog them because they're not nearly as good as the McKinney Chamber. I don't know what to say. The people in this room help make it what it is.
Right.
But the nonprofits, the businesses, the solopreneurs, there really isn't any other organization like the McKinney Chamber. It is incredibly humbling to get to be a part of making things happen. From an ambassador to Leadership McKinney to programs like this, Senior Service Alliance, the young professionals. I mean, there really is something for everybody. It's beautiful. We forgot to get audience participation, I just realized. But we're short on time, so we're going to keep on track. Oh, we have 5 whole minutes? Raise your hand if you want to tell me the why McKinney. Anybody in here, raise your hand if you've got a why McKinney. Oh, Olga. New girl gonna come in with the why McKinney. Here you go.
3 years ago, I visited.
You're good.
I visited McKinney just to see my relatives here. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and when I went to old city McKinney, the historic city, I said, if I ever move anywhere from Oregon, that's gonna be McKinney. It reminded me of Europe and the vibe. People are sitting outside, drinking wine. People are so nice and so friendly. That's why I chose McKinney.
That's awesome.
Yeah, come on.
Great answer. Isn't she doing a good job with the Steadicam? She learned how to use this thing yesterday. I was like, hey, I've got a job for you tomorrow. She was like, really, Roy? I was like, you're gonna run the Steadicam. She's like, I've literally never done that before. But she's doing a great job. All right, somebody from over here. Why McKinney Chamber? You couldn't be more of a homer than the answer I just gave, so feel free. There you go. Russia.
Raise a hand.
I was a part of a different chamber for a year before I came here, and I thought, what the waste of time it is. I had one referral in a year, and here I've been for, 2-3 months, and I have probably 10 referrals. We're here to make money, not just connect with each other. So ROI is amazing.
How about that? Raise your hand if you have benefited in business from being a member of the chamber. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Excellent. All right, so our third question.
Why the McKinney Podcast, Fred? Why are you doing this? We're not making 1 cent off of these hours we spent.
That's right. Okay, so if you notice when James and I sat down this morning that Elizabeth is sitting between us.
The boss.
That's right. Because when it comes down to it, when James first joined the chamber, I was like, this guy's different. I need to get to know him. And
That's being very polite. Thank
that's
you.
right. He's unique. How about that? Like McKinney.
Unique by nature or unique by James and Fred?
Exactly. So James and I got to talking, and it was like, you know what? There are so many awesome things about McKinney, veritable masters of what they do. And we look around this room and we see the best of the best. And we were talking pre-COVID, you know what? We should do like a YouTube channel, and we should really talk about the masters of McKinney. We started to work towards that, and James came over, we collaborated on the intro video, some scripts and things, and then something happened and there was no more going outside or even getting close to each other, which was a bummer for us. But in that time,
Can we have a socially distanced podcast?
that's right, yes, the Socially Distance Podcast. But in that time, James, he was like, you know what? Podcast. And just out of the blue, one day he calls me up, and of course, during COVID, what were we doing? Nothing, right? He was like, I pick up the phone, he's like, podcast. I was like, what about? He's like, the McKinney Podcast.
Most original name ever, folks.
Because we looked around and there was no podcast based on McKinney. And so we were like, you know what? Rather than the Masters of McKinney, how about we just call it the McKinney Podcast, where we celebrate what makes us truly unique by nature. And all of a sudden, we're getting after it. And then, of course, the Rains had to come in and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you can't build Hollywood right here.
Yeah.
And then James said, watch me.
Well, and the thing I want to say is, for those of you that haven't listened, raise your hand if you've listened to an episode of the podcast. Like half the room. Yeah, the other half has never listened. This is not a business podcast. There's a lot of business owners on the podcast, but there's also nonprofit leaders, elected officials, people that run the city, valedictorians, a 17-year-old kid who started a technology business from his living room. That's Benevolent, by the way, Rashad Katamani, and he and his business partner, who is, by the way, 13, starting a technology company and making me question, what am I doing with my life? So literally, if it happens in McKinney, if we think it's interesting and we want more people to know about it, then it's probably going to be on the McKinney podcast. So the call to action here, we don't have anything to sell. We're literally make no money from this. The call to action is listen and share it with somebody and just have more pride and enjoyment for your city, because that's the only reason the podcast exists. McKinney Podcast, celebrating what makes us unique by nature. Thanks, everybody.